Welcome to the first ever real live, true episode of Two Legs. Episode number 251.
That's
Welcome.
right.
Welcome,
Welcome.
welcome.
It is.
Yeah. Hey, we're
it's
fashionably late. We had some tech issues, and we're hoping that the former leg, Mr. David Gargalino, can join us. He had some tech issues, but hopefully he can join us. If he can, we'll bring him up. That's why we were late. We thank you all for waiting and chilling in the comments and watching and waiting for us. And if you didn't know, my name's Andy Nichols, and I'm one of the co-hosts of Two Legs. Tom Agnotti. Good
and
evening.
Tom Hanyadi, Andy. Nice to see you again. We are here to give our thought review and thoughts of the brand new one hand clapping LP CD release, and it looks like all of you in the comments section have gotten yours, and I hope you have, and I hope you've been enjoying this release because Andy, this has been one of the more exciting releases that we've got to date in the last recent years, don't you think?
Totally agree. An archive release, you know, that we've waited for. I mean, we didn't know if it was going to be coming out or ever, but okay, one hand clapping is coming out 50 years later. Boom. Okay, we'll take it. We're happy. Before we get into actually anything, how do we sound tonight, everybody? Tom made some mic setting changes.
Yes.
I made some changes. I have a new mixer, so let us know how we sound tonight. If we're too loud or we're too soft, be honest. Tell us. We won't cry. I promise.
Yeah, but before we get into our thoughts on that, there are some more news. There's more touring news, right? Paul has booked some more dates in Mexico, right?
Yeah, well, in the UK, too. Well, we had the
Yes.
dates. We had the dates that were booked that we knew about, starting in October with Montevideo, 2 dates in Buenos Aires, Santiago, Cordoba, Lima, Monterrey. Now we have a couple. That's right. Now we have two more in Mexico City. Which is he ever going to play the backseat of my car? It's like he's just tempting it out there. He's
It,
just
it, it won't happen. It won't happen, I know. But thank you, Tone, for that. And Tom, as we working out this volume thing or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll ever play backseat in my car, even if it's just that one line. I don't think he'll ever do it. But Andy, your big news is that you will be attending a couple shows over there across the pond, right?
That's right. Well, so then obviously last Monday we found out that Paul had dropped an announcement that he was going to be doing 4 gigs in the UK, 2 in Manchester and 2 in London. And we had decided to go for it. Myself and Susan and Jim Ryan and MVP, the Heidi, we were like, let's go for it. I'm just reading the comments with the sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks to Fans on the Run, number one fan Joan Borelli, she gave me a link about event travel. And the MVP and I got on our laptops trying to find tickets. And I need more volume. Tom is much louder than Andy. Wow. Okay. So maybe, Tom, we got to bring you down a little bit then and make ourselves both like 100 maybe. What if we just do that? Tom 100, Andy 100. That's
Okay.
live, folks. So hang in there.
Yeah.
We're doing this live, so stand by. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so Tom and I should both be adjusted. Give it a second. We should be better as we move forward. Yeah. So the announcement dropped. The pre-sale was going to be on the 19th of, on the 19th to do it, and it was all through event travel before the general sale, which is Friday, which is tomorrow. The regular sale is tomorrow.
Right.
Ticketmaster, PaulMcCartney.com, the password, all that was all through Ticketmaster and event travel on Wednesday, and it was Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. Really in America, which was pretty appropriate when you think about when the tickets went on sale, and it was crazy. I mean, I read stories about people trying to get tickets on Ticketmaster and how there was like 24,000 people in line. I talked to Tone via email. He said it was crazy, but MVP and I were on our laptops. I eventually got in and got in for one. We got tickets. We got second row VIP package for the Sunday night Manchester show, and then floor seats about 10 rows back for the Saturday show, all through event travel. And by 5:30 in the morning, 20 to 6, we were done. We got it. We were in. I told Susan, I told Jim. They couldn't believe it. And now we're going. And I lost Tom. But who else is here? David's here. Can I hear David? I can't hear David. Where did Tom go? Maybe we shouldn't have gone live and recorded this properly with all these tech issues. Not on to me. I believe it's 23,000, Tom. I think it's 23,000. Where'd you go, man?
I don't know. Technology is great, but sometimes it's so frustrating.
Yeah, so it's awesome. So that's in December, and we're really excited. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, bigger
That's
than the
great.
garden.
I'm happy for it. I'm happy for you,
Yeah,
and I
and
can't wait to hear about it. And hopefully, maybe we'll go live after the gig, after you've settled into the hotel or whatnot. And
yep,
there's the Queen. All
Queen's there,
right.
and Joan Borelli will be at, excuse me, one of the shows too. So we'll see her there too.
Ah,
Hello, Mother. Joan will be there too. So maybe we can do a thing with Joan and get her live at the same time. And the sound check coming from the sound check king. Hold on, I'm gonna give him a little plug there. Hold on. Don't fall, poster. No, not off the ground. I need the book. This great book. Thank you. There it is, man.
very good.
Welcome to Soundcheck. And this is just a great book about all their concert going experiences with sound checks. So, yeah.
All right, so we're good now, I guess.
Exciting times.
It
David,
is.
can you be heard now? Go ahead, David.
Yeah. It's I'm on Plan
Yeah.
D because I can't even use my. I'm on a brand new iPhone for work, and I can't even connect to the audio with the headphones. It bumps me out to the speaker. So forgive me for my audio quality. So I'm listening to. Well, I'm on my computer listening to Amazon through my real headphones, and I was hoping to hear you guys through my ear pods. So
No, that's better than nothing. But
you're not in here, so I can just hear you in the speaker. So.
Oh wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're gonna get to talking about one hand clapping here. As we again, we're really excited about this release. We have got segments of this. We got it through the Band on the Run, or most of it on the Band on the Run in 2010 via the archive release. We got snippets on the McCartney archive and snippets on the Venus and Mars release, but never the Andy, you're louder, but still softer than either. Okay. Well, thank you, Susan.
We're trying to perfect this. I mean,
yes.
Again, we're just trying. Bear with us.
We've only been doing this for 8 years. We'll get it right eventually. So
Hey, things were fine back in the old
Skype days.
Skype audio.
I need more volume. I sound like I'm screaming through this thing. How do you guys hear me?
You sound fine on my speakerphone.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. But maybe turn your volume up just a little bit more than ours if you can.
Okay.
All right. So we'll go right there. But anyways, let's talk first about the packaging of the vinyl set here and the CD set. Right. We got the vinyl. We got the CD. Now it's not a gatefold. He chose not to do the gatefold.
No, they did not.
It's just
Two
the
CD's a gatefold.
it's just
Yeah.
Well, the CD is the gatefold. But this is reminiscent of the proposed Red Rose Speedway double album, where both albums are in just the one jacket there. You did get this little pamphlet here that folds out to kind of like a little bit of a poster. So if you didn't order the poster, you kind of get the poster right there on the pamphlet,
Kind of.
right? And then you get pictures of all the individuals of the band.
Here's
you
my
get a little
gatefold.
writing there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's your gatefold, right? You've got all of them, some literature underneath all of them. Wings with Paul McCartney. He says, I like working with a gang of people. I like a little team. The fun of having a cup of tea together and getting your heads down and working on a piece of music. I've never been a solo performer, so it's natural for me to find myself a group. So little bits like that underneath each picture of a band member there. And
Well, it was
we've got
supposed to
the
be
ever,
like a TV.
yeah,
They were going to kind of do,
yeah,
if you remember,
exactly,
like they were going to do it like
right.
with James Paul McCartney, where they had the little flash
Hmm.
pictures of the bios. This is kind of the same thing, where you're seeing a little bit of a biographical
Right,
breakdown of each
exactly.
member and a little bit of a quote and why they're there. To me, that had
Right.
kind of shades of James Paul McCartney, where you just
Paul
saw band
McCartney.
members
Yeah,
and why, and a
Yep.
little bit of a basic bio. I mean, the one on that was
Yep.
just simple. Paul McCartney, Liverpool, 18 June 1942, on a screen with words. This is a
Right.
little bit better.
Right. Then you
Exactly.
got the back half. You got all the credits
Right.
right there.
Steve,
So
I fixed that. It should be both now. Again, I got a brand new mixer, so just bear with. I should be coming out of both channels now on your stereo. Tony says all these quotes appear in the documentary. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
interesting.
Which I haven't watched since 2010 when that set came out. So it's been
I
a long
busted it
time.
out yesterday, just to kind of refreshen myself
Yeah.
on, it's a nice piece. I just wish it was more complete, but I think at the moment that's the best we're going to get from a visual standpoint.
Right. And then how much more complete does it need to be? I mean, listen, lately all the CDs have to mirror the LPs now, right? So that only limits how much you can put on the
Yeah.
LP set. So and then you'd have to make it a 3 LP set, right? Then you're just going to raise the cost of it more. So
Well, yeah.
I mean, how much more complete? I mean, what else besides Suicide, besides more takes of all the other songs, are there?
I mean, are you talking about just an audio perspective?
Yeah, in an audio perspective.
Video. I
Yeah.
wanted to mirror what we have on audio now, but
Right.
yeah. I mean, I think this is the most comprehensive we're going to get in his lifetime. 24 tracks and or 26.
Yeah, this is going to be it.
Because I think he's treating it like if this album came out in the 70s as a product. So, I mean,
Mhm.
this is one of the few bootlegs I've never really reached out because I kind of got sick of how they were piecemealing one hand clamping over like 3 or 4 releases during the archive years. And I'm like, whatever, because there is another, I think, video cut with a couple different songs than what was broadcasted. I think one was for the US and one was for the UK. But I mean, I would, I'm a bootleg junkie, so I would love to hear
Right.
all the outtakes. I mean, they are doing a bunch of, you could hear them say take 4, 7. I mean, it's kind of
Right,
like,
right.
I think they were just kind of like seeing what happens in the studio, and then maybe we put it together for a product. But it took 50 years for a true audio
Yeah,
release.
and I know it's not complete if you're looking at it from a historical perspective about what was done during those sessions, but given the technology that was used now, I mean, I know it's not totally complete, but damn, it sound clear and just modern and
Yeah,
bright and punchy.
exactly.
I mean, so
Right.
I can forgo not being historically accurate to David's point about blah 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 because it's just so well presented.
I mean, I'm listening to this. I'm happy because we get to hear the whole hand clapping theme. I think it's like a 30-second visual on the
Right,
DVD.
right.
You're like,
On
it
the
just
DVD,
fades out.
right.
Yeah.
Right now you got
Right.
the full.
There's other like classic live performances, like Johnny Cash's live at Folsom Prison and San Quentin. When those were initially released, I mean, those were complete concerts, right? It wasn't until decades later to where you got the box set where you got everything in there, which I kind of felt like maybe this would have been a perfect thing for a box set, right? I mean, you're looking at maybe 3 CDs, maybe 4 LPs,
And
then
Like a
DVD.
clamshell.
yeah, and a DVD, yeah, absolutely. So this would have been great as its own box set.
At least he kind of took all the piecemeal stuff that David was saying, and we got it finally
Right.
on one release.
Do you
Right.
think this is kind of going along with the 50-year kind of copyright dump that, like, hey, we're
Yeah, the 63. Yeah, that's what.
I mean-
Agent Sinclair had mentioned that too. That this could have
Yeah,
been
he
something
did.
like that
He
as
did.
well.
Totally
Yeah.
agree with you there, Tony. Remix tracks on One Hand Clapping are far superior. Totally, and we're going to talk about that as
Yeah.
we go through the sound quality.
Right.
I mean, it just blows them out. It blows the ones on the archive releases out of the water, and I think you would agree.
Right. Yeah. Now, one of the things that people have mentioned, and deservedly so, or rightfully so, I should say, is the lining on the vinyl. Now, I know Harrison Camp, they will put that rice paper or poly,
Right.
that kind of inside inside with the vinyl, the inner
Yeah.
sleeve, yeah, or the inner groove, whatever you want to talk about.
No, it's a liner.
But does that matter? Does that matter to you guys? I mean, do you need that lining in your vinyl
No.
set? Does it really?
No, and just be careful with it. I mean, but they're heavy duty vinyl. I mean, you look at the vinyl back in the 80s and 90s, they're flimsy. So I mean, don't drop it.
They were frisbees, for Christ's sake. You could take them and put them in the yard.
Yeah. It does have the same kind of like text that the Red Rose, Underdub and Red Rose Speedway double album had. So I guess you could say this is a trend.
The Red Rose Speedway archive had like the handwriting scratching.
Did it?
Okay.
It's kind of here's the Underdub stuff, the Band on the Run.
Underdub, thank you.
It mimics the Underdub release with the kind of bold face type, but the archive, the Red Rose, there was that kind of handwritten scratch that was on there.
Right. So, I mean, we can assume this is a trend now. We think this is what we're going to see in the future now. These kind of like separate bootleg type or archive type releases, kind of like what Neil Young has been doing over the last 10 years or so.
I'm curious if they're going to hit like the 75 Wings Over Europe tour,
How about a show from Australia?
Oh, yeah.
A show from Australia.
Yeah.
Yes, we know a totally different set list from the 76 Wings Over America. Stuff like you had the Little Woman Loves Sea Moon, you had Junior's Farm, you had a lot of different stuff on there than what you had from Wings Over America.
It wasn't radically different, but enough to change it up, and it was everything but the Speed of Sound material. It was everything but because Speed of Sound they hadn't started working on it yet. Is this the first official bootleg since Unplugged? Probably.
Is this really a bootleg? I mean, are they calling it?
It's not a bootleg.
It's just kind of an unrealized project that kind of, from an audio perspective.
But I know what Tom's saying. I think I kind of understand what he's saying. It's kind of, like in a bootleg release getting released.
Red Road Speed, the double album would kind of set that precedent of unreleased stuff in an image of the originality, the original thought and theme.
Okay.
Do you think they're going to go backwards?
Do
you think they're going to go backwards to the James Paul McCartney special and kind of pull the audio from that and turn that into an album?
An audio release only? Nah, I don't know about that.
No, I don't think so. But let's move on to the exclusive, the EP here, and we'll review it later as well. However, now, David, this was exclusive to PaulMcCartney.com, but there was one other place that you could order as well, David?
3 places.
So what were the other 2 places that
you discover?
Okay.
And then Sound of Vinyl, and they're all under the same umbrella.
Okay. All right. So PaulMcCartney.com, you discover.
Yeah.
Right, and Sound of Vinyl. Okay. So, and then how do you guys feel about that? This Backyard Session EP was only available with an exclusive.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
I mean, Country Dreamer's been on the Band on the Run archive.
Yeah, that's been out. Yeah. Country Dreamer was out already. So
the other ones are nice. I don't. Oh, man, it's tough because it's like now there's an exclusive on a 45. People are like, man, couldn't you just tack this onto the CD as well? You could tack it on the CD and still keep the 7-inch as a special EP version for the vinyl. But it's another piecemeal of a form. I mean, it's neat, but someone's going to probably throw up on YouTube in the next week or so you could hear it digitally. But I like the format, I like the theme. I think the Beatles and Paul are doing that, like the vintage look.
Andy, your thoughts on the EP being exclusive to?
I like that it's exclusive. I like it. It wasn't. It was part of Paul's website. You had to get it. You had to get it through his website or the other affiliated companies. I had no problem with it being bundled that way. It wasn't that unaffordable to get it on Paul's website.
No, it was like an extra, like you really think about like an extra $7.
Yeah, I thought it was fine to be bundled just to Paul's website, and glad we have it.
But
well, go ahead, David.
I mean, going back in my mind, what could come out next year? They could release Wings Over America for everyone that missed it 6 years ago. Put that as a vinyl release. That the super exclusive.
Well, yeah. I'm thinking, we'll definitely get the Venus and Mars Half-Speed Master for sure next year, and then hopefully maybe, like you said, maybe like a Wings Over Europe or Australia or something like that. But it's the thing is like we would be on our third pressing of Wings Over America. I mean, we got the color vinyl, right? We got the regular black, and then we got the archive, all within the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So. I think we're good on Wings Over America for now. But again, if he releases a half-speed master on that, we're all going to buy it anyway. So that's not an issue. But let's move on to the shipping issue. Why can't if the stores can get these releases on time, why can't the public, the buying public?
PaulMcCartney.com,
yeah. It's not just. I mean, I've ordered stuff from Kiss.com, Kiss Online as well, and gotten it 3, 4, 5 days after release day as well. So it's just not that. But why can't we get these on time? I don't understand.
I don't think their logistics are as kind of solid as Amazon. Because your stuff is coming for the Paul McCartney stuff, I think Nashville.
Right, which used to come out of Michigan, which is when I moved back to Michigan. I was like, "Oh, great! I'm just going to be in the backyard."
You'll be set then.
Right.
You're right in your backyard. You got it.
Mine shipped out on the 12th of June and came last Friday afternoon. So that was coming from Kentucky. You guys,
Blue Moon.
You guys are paying a little bit more on Paul McCartney's website actually, and you're paying for shipping and tax. So it's like you guys should get it a week before the official release date, honestly. I don't get that in this day and age. Stuff that's coming domestically within the region, it's not coming from Washington State to New York or New Jersey.
Right.
I don't get that. It's not fair to you guys are buying it from his official site, and you got to wait. I know you guys got the 45 singles, I think, the day of. Or
yes. That came the day of that came.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I think you got the underdubs around.
Underdub, you're right. That
came on release day too.
Well. Yeah. Yeah. So we thought things were getting better, but again, it's really frustrating. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I got it the next day, Saturday. But the thing is those are my busy Saturday, Sunday. Those are my busier days.
Kid, look at Kid. Kid didn't get it till Tuesday.
Yeah. Yes. So what I did was, I knew my CD from Amazon was going to arrive on the day of. Wasn't expecting the vinyl that same day. So Amazon's been cheap. You buy the underdub and one hand clapping, you're paying right. I noticed the CD was $24.99 straight up. It didn't get discount. They've been cheap on the McCartney stuff of not giving you an audio rip. So I spent I think maybe $12.99 on and then the rip on Amazon Music. So that's what I'm listening to when we talk about the songs. I'll have that as the playback. But so I got 3 formats right now. So
Here's Mazzy. Mazzy says it's unfortunate they shipped the day before on release date. If they ship days earlier, there's a chance you may get it earlier, thus screwing the embargo actual release date. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so I got my I got my shipping notice on Thursday. Okay, and then just checking it. Then later that night, it said it was gone, and Friday it said it was in Cincinnati or something like that, and then here it is on, and then it comes on Saturday. So and luckily, I was able to get it before I went to work. So
mine got shipping notice on Thursday, and I got it on Saturday. Saturday morning came. Yeah. This is a banger of an episode, tech wise. I tell you, what a winner! What a winner! What a winner of an episode.
So when they send you the shipping notice, it means literally they're putting it in the system. It's you should be getting the shipping notice on Monday or Tuesday of that
Monday,
week.
Tuesday, right? Yeah, and the smaller companies, right? I mean, it's not like this big warehouse like Amazon is, where they probably got 100 people working,
Exactly,
shipping.
Bill Leary. What's the
Yeah,
point of pre-ordering if you get it almost a week later? Bingo.
yeah, yeah. Good
Bingo.
point, Bill. Good point.
I think basically we pre-order out of excitement that we got it locked in.
Well, based on the fact
Yeah.
that sometimes we got the box set 7 singles the day of the release. So if it's gonna go back
Right.
and forth, you're thinking, okay, we'll get it release day. Well,
Well,
apparently not.
Let me know when you get your $1,300 cube. If you get that on,
That thing better come on release day.
it better come like a week before.
It better if it's like
Right.
the crate. If it's like the crate, which I got 2 weeks earlier, yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah,
Maybe like in a week's
Yeah.
time, they'll just say, "Oh, here's the John Lennon Mind Games cube."
You guys should get
before
the
you go-
exclusive early shipment because you're just spending that much money on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Give,
affect
give,
me
give.
because- Yeah.
right. Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
So, all right, interesting. So let's go ahead and move to let's talk about the tracks on here.
Sure.
Let's each give our thoughts on the tracks
We can
here.
we can blow
I
through
think-
this quick
yeah,
though.
go
We
ahead.
don't need dissertations on each song.
No, exactly. This isn't going to be
Quick,
no
quick,
thesis
quick,
on
quick.
these songs, sir. But one hand clapping, Andy, go.
I like it because you hear that early Wings synth sound on it,
Yeah.
which you hear later on in Wings songs. I love that. I love that part of
Yeah.
one hand clapping because that you hear that in so many Wings songs in the 70s. You heard it even a little bit later on Paul when he did on that song on New. I Can Bet. So you hear that song, you hear that little synth sound come back. Great use of that on the
Linda's
opening
great
track
on
of one
that
hand
stuff.
clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now you're a little louder, Andy.
Now I'm louder. What?
Go ahead,
Colin
David.
says, if I don't see Andy on Box Given July 12th, I'm sending my MBE back to the Queen. Go ahead, David.
Go ahead, David.
I was just saying all this tech stuff. I should just drove over to Tom's, just sat next to him.
Yeah.
I'm 3 miles from you, buddy. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. David, one hand clapping.
I love it. We're actually getting the full song. I'm not sure if this is. You guys have to remind me which is exclusive to this set that hasn't been bootleg, but it's nice to hear the full 2.5 minute song. And it sets it up for the time period with the synth. I mean,
Right.
like I said, I like Linda's playing on it. I don't know how much wood shedding she was doing behind the scenes. I don't know when she took up the Moog and the Mellotron and any keyboards, but like she's spot on timing wise, and
Right.
it's enjoyable.
Well, and plus her synth has been brought up in these mixes as well, so you get to enjoy it a little bit more. Yeah, I think this is a really cool groove. And I think it's one of the better of their jam instrumental songs, kind of like Zoo Gang or whatever. Even Crossroads. I think this is far superior to any of those tracks. So I really dig one hand clapping. All right, let's go to. Oh boy, we're just really having fun, guys. This is why we should just stick to recording episodes. Anyways, hope you guys are still there watching. But what's going on? Where is everybody? The band sounds so tight on the set. You're right, Bill.
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
What happened? I go away for 2 seconds
I
to go to the
don't know.
bathroom? Come on.
Yeah. So David's
where do we leave
gone,
off?
But anyways,
This
we're at
episode is
one hand
just this is going to go in the Hall of Fame. This fucking episode, I swear to
Yeah.
Christ. I guess we're not doing live again for a real show.
No, not for an
Christ
episode.
almighty.
No. I know. No.
One and done
So,
with this shit.
anyways.
Go.
All right, moving on to Jets. I'm going to say that this was a really cool, really tight, really fast take of Jet. I dig this one. I don't think it's the best live performance of this one, but I still really like it a lot. Andy?
Yeah, the synths are way up in this. which is obviously right out of the gate. You can hear that. I agree with you, Tom. There are better live performances of Jet, but it's still fantastic. And again, you come around to hearing all this music, and somebody said that all the band. I think Bill Leary said it just a few comments ago. The band sounds so tight on this set, and they do.
Right.
Jet is no example. Yeah, okay, there's other great versions of it, but it still sounds great. And I like synths. David likes synths, so anytime we hear the synths way up in the mix, I'm game.
Well, that's what I was saying while you were gone. Is that the Orchard did bring up the synth in the mix?
Yeah.
David, go.
So these are contemporary mixes. This is not like the Jeff
no
mix of the underdub.
Right.
So this is they remixed this album pretty nicely, and then Giles did the Atmos mix.
Giles
Giles
did
did the
so
Atmos,
right. So
yeah.
Giles did the Atmos, and Steve Orchard did the remixes. And
Yeah, that's
bravo.
why you don't see Giles' name on the credits.
Yeah, Giles'
for the,
name isn't in the
LP.
credits at all.
Yeah, right. Okay, moving on. The banger for me, I think I've seen a lot of positive comments about this,
yeah.
and that's Soily. Andy, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I know it's a favorite of Kit's. This one, I mean, they had the video for it. I think it's probably the best studio take of Soily that we've gotten, for sure. I do like the arrangement of Soily live because it was just more theatrical. It was the last song on the set, the build up, the encore song. It took on a different thing, and but right here the band's cooking and it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And
The lyrics make no freaking sense. The cat in satin trousers says it's oily.
So
What?
it's oily. Yeah,
What?
That's
What
fine.
the hell are those lyrics about? Come on.
Anyways, I think this is great. However, I do love Joe English's drumming on the Wings Over America.
Yes.
Set a little bit better, but I think Jeff Britton, he proved that he's a very good drummer on this release. Go ahead, David.
I feel like Jeff is more in line with Paul's kind of drumming style. I think Denny Sywell is like their ultimate drummer because he came from a different background. But I feel like Paul, this is kind of what Paul would be drumming, if he was in the studio with the song. So Jeff kind of mirrors that. But like this song just I think this is the pinnacle of like what you would think early mid 70s Wings is, this kind of puts this kind of shows why Paul McCartney is who he is, and how I think from a live or studio he kind of ascended to above the other guys, mainly because they were just studio and they had some concerts here and there, but this is Paul leading a new band, and I think this is the era where this is where they ascended. He had some great solo albums, and then when Band on the Run kind of took off, so did this band. I get it. They moved on from Jeff shortly after, but this is kind of the precursor to the Wings Over America band.
It is.
Oh yeah, with Jimmy. Jimmy's is established in the band now. Ready to take off as well. All right, now track 4, Sea Moon, Little Love. Now, very interesting on this one is the order, because normally with the past lot, the UK, right? Wings Over UK or Europe or whatever it was, it was the other way around. It was Little Woman Love, then Sea Moon, and then Little Woman Love.
Back to Little Woman Love. Yeah, you didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hearing on the bootleg.
This is kind of interesting. Yeah.
I think on the bootleg they took the front portion of Little Woman off. I think Sea Moon was sandwiched between. Don't quote me on that. I thought there was Little Woman Love on the front of it.
I think you're right, David. I think they chopped that off and it just starts with Sea Moon. That's not how that medley was. I think that was prepared specifically for this release.
Yeah.
I think, because he always played it that way.
Right.
Little Woman Love, Sea Moon, Little Woman Love, and you don't hear that. He's never played that, any incarnation where it was just starting with Sea Moon. It always was done that way. Maybe they just felt it was too monotonous, so they just chopped it. I don't know.
Fine.
Good rendition. Good rendition.
Oh yeah,
he's played it for this early period, 73, 4, 5. This was a medley that he played quite a bit. I even played it in Australia. So obviously he had an affinity for Little Woman Love, which B-side of a Wings song, sure, no problem.
Okay.
But it's a perfunctory. It's good.
He could bring back this medley.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Tony says in the doc, Sea Moon and Little
Okay.
Woman Love appear exactly as they do on record with no Little Woman at the. Okay.
Yeah, but I
There
don't.
you go.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, I just feel like a lot of things have been edited, so I would have to look at the bootlegs and see what the true real time thing was. But apparently they don't want to release like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We got a little bit of a different opening to Maybe I'm Amazed, which I rather enjoyed. But you get a little echo in the vocals. David, your thoughts on Maybe I'm Amazed?
That vocal's on the video as well. But I love the intro. Him on I think the Fender Rhodes piano, and then Linda's next to him on the Mellotron. God, yeah. I'm listening. I'm hearing his vocals are in right now, and
Me too.
What a great voice. Like this
playing
might
right
be
now.
one of my favorite versions of this song.
David, I agree with you 1,000%. It's not the Wings Over America version, but the vocal delivery on this and the remix. This remix blows the version on the McCartney archive out of the water, because that's when this was first on. That we first heard this officially released on McCartney, the archive released in 2011, and we was like, oh wow, this is one hand clapping. This sounds really good. This version blows that out of the water with the remix job.
And let's just add that, I mean, the vocal performance on every track here is superb. He's just that top vocal form with this 4 days and then the 2 extra days in October if they had to redo a few things. Anyways, but moving on to My Love. Now this is where we get to hear Jimmy kind of like trying to find that guitar solo. It's not 100% there, but it's fun.
He's a little
nonetheless.
stiff on it, but
yeah. It's good. I've always been a My Love supporter. Even with the Whoa Whoa Whoas, I'll sing the Whoa Whoa Whoas till the day I die. Andy?
Yeah, I think a lot of people enjoy the orchestration being brought up in this one. Obviously, it's much more. It's much more prevalent now. We can hear the orchestration so much more here. I mean, it's great. I wasn't more impressed with it than the studio cut, other than it being clear and bright. It's good. He's still finding his way, like Kit just said. He's finding his way, so I enjoy it. Again, more just for the vocal delivery. Paul's vocals on all these tracks with this remix are so bright and upfront and clear that I can kind of almost forget about everything else. The playing, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I like it.
Yeah. All right, we get into. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
In the document or on the visuals, they show the orchestra guys in Studio 3, and I think the band is in Studio 2. And I'm not sure if I don't think they're playing at the same time. I think they're showing the orchestra listening to the backing tracks that were recorded, and then they're piecing it together. That's what I'm seeing on the DVD. You don't see the band in the same room as the orchestra, but they blend both of them together for the release.
Okay.
I agree. I think you're right. Yeah.
So maybe the orchestra was overdubbed originally.
But they were in the next room.
They were next room. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we get to the segment of we get the Bluebird and all of the the granny music, if you want to call it Muzak or whatever. So Bluebird, Let's Love, All of You, I'll Give You a Ring. Let's just lump these in together.
You want to lump all these together?
Sure. I think this was a nice little segment of the release. I love his little when he does the piano on his own. Let's Love. I love that. I love I'll Give You a Ring. All of You. I don't have a lot of listening experience to that one, but I really enjoyed it. But Bluebird, I can take or leave Bluebird. I don't necessarily need.
You mean as a song or the version?
As a song.
Oh, as a song.
Period. As a song.
I've enjoyed.
It's never been a favorite.
No, and it's been okay.
I like it better than Blackbird.
I like it better than Blackbird for sure. But the version of One Hand Clapping, I think, blows the version of Band on Band on the Water. Listen to me, Band on the Run out of the water.
Well,
I think it's better.
String intro. I think Denny's playing it. I like this mix. It's a little bit different than the studio version.
Yes.
I've always had a little affinity for Bluebird. Just kind of the atmospheric of the song. But I could see how some people don't care for it, but just those are one of the songs that grabbed me. But.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the piano stuff, Let's Love, All of You, I'll Give You a Ring. All of You, I think, and obviously, I'll Give You a Ring is one of the best B-sides ever, which became a B-side later, which was the B-side to
Take It Away
in 1982. So here you hear now Paul doing I'll Give You a Ring by himself. Finished, it became a lot better because it was more of a wingsy sounding. He had Linda on the harmonies and stuff, but it's still cool to hear him just banging it out here, just as a piano ballad here.
Right.
The gem of this, All of You, I think, is really one of the best highlights of the whole piano stuff on One Hand Clapping. I think Let's Love. I know Kyle Hand liked Let's Love. He said that he liked it, but All of You, to me, 2 minutes and 5 seconds is it's the more meatier piano performance, I think, on the package. Let's Love is 1 minute and 10 seconds. I'll Give You a Ring. We already know that because it was the B-side, so we kind of already know that song really well. Love My Baby later on the album is shorter, but I think All of You as a piece is more complete and a great song. Just a piano ballad that's from start to finish.
Right. Okay. Now the CD finishes strong. We get Band on the Run, David. Does it rock? I mean, it sounds pretty tight to me. How do you like it?
I love it. They're tight, man. Because the core 5 guys got together earlier that spring.
Summer.
Yeah. And so this is in forgot the date. It was in August?
August of 74. End of August.
26th to 30th. Yeah. And then they did some stuff in October. I mean,
overdubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's good. I mean, they're tight. I mean, this
again, Linda's synth is brought up a little bit too on this, I think, as well.
Yeah. Again, this is another one of those where I'm like, the version of One Hand Clapping. When I first heard this in 2010, when it was on the archive of Band on the Run, I said this version of Band on the Run is better than the one on the actual album. Yes, and I stand by that. The screaming, for the Rabbits on the Run. Go listen to him. Go listen to him sing for the Rabbits on the Run of One Hand Clapping. You're going to be like, holy shit, that's freaking really awesome.
The interesting thing was, I saw how piecemealed it was on CD2 on the archives, and I never really listened to that bonus disc. I think I was watching the documentary more than listening. So this release brings everything mostly together, and it gives me more of an appreciation.
If you're keeping score at home, people, it's like the 3 minute and 15-second mark of the track.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, I was like, it's clear, it's loud. It was a fresher take of a song that we hear all the time, and it's just in a studio, it's controlled, and they're just freaking cooking. Debbie agrees. Thank you, Deb. Freaking phenomenal. Yeah.
Live and Let Die. I don't know. I think maybe I was a little overwhelmed with, or I'm not. No, I mean a little underwhelmed with this take, but it still sounds great. And is tight on this one, but it just doesn't have that little extra oomph, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but it's still a good rendition. But it's something that they perfected with Joe English there for the next mock of Wings.
You hear the orchestra more. The orchestra is up in this a bit, which is nice for a change.
So I had to make sure they didn't fly in the orchestra from the album until I saw it on DVD again. I'm like, oh, they're actually redoing it. I'm like, it's pretty close to the record. I mean, I get it. It's notes on a sheet of paper they're reading and playing from, but I was like, did they fly that in from the album? But
no, they didn't.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could have, but they did not. They did not.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And Kit mentions Jeff Britton, and if you are a SiriusXM subscriber, an interview with Jeff Britton just dropped on the Beatles channel with Tom Frangione, I think either today or I think it was today. So check. I didn't hear it yet. I had quite the day myself at work, but check it out. I mean, it's an exclusive interview with Jeff Britton on the Beatles channel.
He definitely had power. I think just his physical physique kind of helped what his hobby.
Oh, yeah.
The horns. I mean, the orchestra. I think the orchestra on this is, again, I think it's better than the studio cut. I do.
Oh wow. Okay. One of my favorites on this track, on this release, and I think a lot of people like this one too. 1985. Now, if you listen to that opening, if you listen to his opening piano, it's just not do 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 do. It's a little bit closer to what he does live
Yes.
these days, and
Yes.
goes a little off key. Goes a little off in a little direction, adds a little bit more, a few more notes or whatnot. I dig that a lot, and I didn't realize that he was doing that,
I'm
that
curious
long
why
ago.
I'm
Yeah,
curious why he changed it up, because they recorded
right.
back in the fall
Yeah,
of
exactly.
'73.
Right,
So he
right.
must have had some time, just playing around with it. It's a lot looser, a little bit more
Yeah, no,
out of the
yeah.
Yes,
box.
right, right. Yeah, yeah. I dig this one a lot. Again, his vocals there towards the end, on the second half, are just kick ass.
Right, and so it's the same version as presented on the Band on Their Own archive, but it's a composite take of Paul in Studio
Right.
2 and the album version with a vocal overdub, and then you hear the backing track coming towards the later, towards the end when he's kind of just screaming and screaming. You hear the backing track come back in, but it's a live vocal just over on top of it. But yeah, that's what's going on with
Right.
this one.
And it's so weird not hearing the band on the
Oh,
front
at the end. Oh
yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah, at
no.
the end. Yeah, So, but yeah, okay, and then we end disc one with Babyface.
That soundtrack stalwart. Where are you, Liveronis? You must have heard Babyface 35 times in your life. Babyface has probably been at every sound check at a McCartney concert, and here it is now, officially for the first time released on a McCartney album. You've got Babyface released.
Right. And he must have been thinking about still releasing this in February of '75 because that's when they're in New Orleans or Narlands, and they add all of that Narland style music to the second half of the
Yep.
because he starts off with Babyface and then it goes into what they added to it there in '75, February of '75. So, David, want to add anything to
Take
it?
it or leave it. I mean, it's a cute song. I know it's a sound check kind of staple. I don't know.
It's a sound check.
Okay.
It's a sound check staple. He loves Babyface. I saw him do it in 2007. He feels comfortable with it. Okay, it got released. He just loves throwing this. He's, it's it's Babyface.
Yeah.
It's Babyface. So that's it. You take this got one out, you put this two
This
in,
two.
and then
Let me
you're
roll
like,
it.
oh, damn it. I mean, you got the burnout factor, the fatigue factor on this one.
Yeah,
However,
yeah,
that
yeah.
being said, you got two new band members on there, and it sounded fresh. It sounded, I like what Jimmy's doing in the background. I like the vocals on this one. So I dig this. Like you with Bluebird, I kind of like this one better than the Band on the Run proper.
Yes. It's just cooking.
Yeah, it is cooked. Yeah, it really does cook.
What do you got, Dave?
I'm so tired of the song, but it's good version.
Yeah, it is.
Jimmy's
It is a
Jimmy's
good
guitar
version.
Jimmy's guitar solo is higher in this mix on
Yeah.
here, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. That's right, Tone. It is fresh there. Okay, moving
Now,
on. Blue Moon.
This
Go ahead.
one here is one of the highlights of the entire set for me here. The band version of Blue Moon of Kentucky, which is your McCartney homework. You know he loves Blue Moon of Kentucky. He
Yes.
played it it was on part of the Unplugged concert in MTV in
Unplugged,
'91.
yep.
He
Oh,
played it
yeah.
with the Beatles, with the Threedles, and for the anthology in '94, '95. He loved, but this is
Right.
a band version of Blue Moon of Kentucky, which totally, I'm seeing my partner's face. I don't think he likes it.
No, I'm fine with this. I mean, and plus the vocals kick. I mean, I love Denny Lane on harmonica, which is fantastic as well. I think this really cooks.
Yeah, this version of Blue Moon as a band is so
Right.
new because it's ingrained in this DNA brain of mine to hear it as a solo, chill acoustic song. And here's a band version of Blue Moon of Kentucky. Instantly stood out as this is a highlight of this album for sure.
Yeah. It's great. I like the harmonica in there. Really,
Yeah, it's
good
got
stuff.
a nice little beat to it. It's fast, it's paced, it's going, it's moving along.
It lets loose, and it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad some of these cuts are on this album because it
Yeah.
takes away from the familiarity of the other songs that we've heard so often, and gives us this really
Right.
neat version.
Right. Andy,
Yes.
did you know that he did Power Cut in these 4 days previous to this release?
I did not.
And
So-
your head instantly exploded when you saw
course
Power
it
Cut
did.
on the track list.
Of course it did. I saw Power Cut. I'm like, oh my God. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad that it's on there, but it was not what I thought it was going to be. It's kind of like this kind of
Right.
circus.
Kind of like, remember the Flaming Pie when he's going in and he's showing all the instruments to the director and he's doing that little...
Right. It's kind of
you know what
like
I'm
that.
talking about?
Yes. This is a Mellotron. This is this. This
Yeah.
is that.
Yes.
It's kind of this.
Right.
Listen, I am thankful for any little bits of Red Rose Speedway we get anywhere. Okay? But
Right.
it's a kind of hokey version of Power Cut. It's a hokey version of Power
Mm-hmm.
Cut. We're going to dedicate this one. This is a request from so-and-so, and he kind of goes into this kind of like
Yes.
pipe organ version of Power Cut.
Right.
Okay, like whatever. It's from Red Rose Speedway. I don't care. I love it anyway.
Enough said.
It's just it's not a bona fide version of what I thought it was going to be. Still love it. I don't care. It's still there. But it's silly.
It's a little. David?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm still absorbing CD2, but these cuts are nice. God, just like it makes you smile when you're listening to it because he's having fun, and he's in a good place in his life around this time. Well, yeah, I mean, from a Wings perspective, I think the world around him was still a little crazy because the Beatles haven't officially been resolved, but yeah, I mean, just I like these batches where he's by himself on the piano or keyboard. It's something, we should treasure, and and it's on a historical perspective now of like, this is neat, and you become thankful for these releases.
Right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but "Love My Baby" was dropped on McCartney.com some years ago.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
I think it was in 2012.
So website was a website. Yeah, it was on his website a few years. I don't know what year, but it was. Yeah. I kind of wish they sequenced all the piano stuff together. It's kind of it would have been nice if they had grouped all that together because they're not really following any kind of track listing order anyway. So if they had grouped all this kind of like pipe organ, honky tonk piano stuff in the middle of the album, maybe it would have been a little better. I like "Love My Baby." It's a minute and 15 seconds. It's a nice little jaunty, quick thing. It's a little ditty, It's messing around. It's not supposed to be anything really, really big. And then now we jump into the Beatles epics for the first time, that we know of on record.
On record, but we do know that he performed a few Beatle cut tracks on the James Paul McCartney special. What he did in the show, right? He did "Yesterday" to close out the
not any of these songs. These are not these heavy hitters.
What
do you call it? What do you call it, Tom? The Paul McCartney
highlight reel.
Highlight reel. Right. Yeah. No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So, but we got "Let It Be." We got but these are shorter versions, right? You got "Let It Be." It's its own track, and then track 6 is a medley of "Long and Winding Road" and "Lady Madonna."
With "Let It
sounding
Be" on
fantastic.
With "Let It Be" on a harmonium, which was weird,
Yeah, but it's sometimes it's fun to hear the same song you've heard a billion times, with reinterpreted with different instruments, It's kind of like you remember when Hell Freezes, that and Hell Freezes Over, and they had this new intro to Hotel California during that whole scene, but which I didn't really care for. But anyways, I thought "Let It Be" was fine. I mean, the vocals are great, but it's just like he does them so well, and you just want him to play the whole thing here. Yeah, the whole song.
Right.
So,
the Long and Winding Road, that sounds like that could have been like, just play the whole song, Paul.
Right. Right. So, So what we're going to jump over to what Agent Sinclair said was it was kind of Frankenstein, right?
Yes.
Bits and pieces from
Junior's
different
Farm,
takes.
yeah.
Yeah, Junior's Farm, which we know they've been rehearsing that whole for a lot of that time they were in Nashville or Lebanon, Tennessee. So that whole band was together that whole time, and they perfecting the song. I dig it. Junior's Farm is one of my favorites McCartney tracks. It's in my top 10 and always will be in my top 10. And David, your thoughts on this particular version?
Even though it's a composite, it still kicks. I mean, it highlights what this band can do. I'm thankful this album's reassessing Jeff Britton's kind of tenure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And even though he's not getting any songwriting credit, royalties, or anything like that, I wonder if he is getting anything for being a player or a musician on the album, kind of like the Pete Best did for Anthology. Yeah,
he's not getting $1 million for it,
Yeah.
but
No.
Oh no, he's not going to be a
No,
millionaire.
Pete Best got more than $1 million for the Anthology. A lot more.
You see his little tweets?
Yes, he did. He's
for
trying to
birthday?
reach out to Paul to open up for him.
Well, yeah.
Paul should
Wait,
take
who
him
would
up on it.
Pete.
Yes, you didn't see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Best tweeted to Paul and said, "Hey, we'd love to open for you for your shows in the UK.
Wow.
Bury the hatch. Life's too short. Do it.
62 years.
Yeah, why not?
Do it."
Why not? Yeah. Really cool. Oh, go ahead, Andy.
No,
Junior's
just
Farm?
Junior's Farm. Yeah, just from Adrian. You had Take Me Down Jimmy, Take Me Down James, and that's all different versions here. The start, according to Adrian, the start of this track is from October. The guitar solo is from a take in August. The giveaway in this version is the count-in. And when Paul goes out, Take Me Down Jimmy, which is from August, rather than Take Me Down James, which is from October.
Man, they should call this release one-hand editing. It's
Very
interesting.
good.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's a Frankenstein mix, but again, it sounds phenomenal. So who cares?
I mean,
It
shit.
does.
I mean,
It does.
Strawberry Fields was a Frankenstein mix.
Yeah.
Right.
True. Right. True.
So-
Now, I do think it's really cool that Sally G is the next track. I mean, it just mirrors the single, right?
But an
Junior's
acoustic version
Farm.
of Sally G, not
But
the,
an
not
acoustic
the-
version,
Yeah.
right? So it makes you wonder if Adrian does believe that it was part of the Backyard tapes, which we'll get to in a little bit. And it kind of sounds like it a little bit that it was part of the Backyard sessions.
It has that feel, and just a
but
little,
has that feel. Yeah, but I dig it. I think it's great. Again, you're getting a great song stripped down. I think it's one of the highlights for me. It's one of the highlights for the Queen. So that's a good thing. We don't want to anger the Queen in any way. So, so good on you, Paul, for satisfying the Queen.
Now, one of the big highlights of this whole set is the next track, the slowed down version of Tomorrow.
Yes.
I
Piano.
wish the song continued on a little bit. It's just so short. And of
Yeah.
course we know that Paul, Linda's father thought that Paul should have
Right.
taken Tomorrow and turned it into more of a slower type ballad. And that's
Right.
what this is. And this is one of the gems of the whole set, in my opinion.
It is. It is. However, I do miss those backing vocals.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, he kept in my favorite line, baby, bring a bag of cheese. I just love that line. It's great. This is one of the great deep cuts. Maybe even the single that never was.
The single that never was. Tomorrow.
Right. Tomorrow. Yeah. So, David, thoughts on that?
He's great, man. I would take a whole album of him at the piano from the 70s, just composite all this stuff. But Tomorrow's a great song. It's a good. It's pushing to the last two songs. It's a nice segue. He's amazing.
It's a song that Paul obviously felt close to because he had it on the album. Then he does this again, and then right around the same time, it might actually have been when they went to New Orleans, they did this kind of other version of it, this instrumental reggae version of Tomorrow, which I think is also just as awesome. You know, I don't know if who's familiar
No,
with that.
I'm not
but
familiar with that one.
Oh,
no.
it's loaded with wings, chock full of wings, moogs, and synths, and all over it. It reminds me of the one hand clapping song because it's good. You've never heard the reggae version of Tomorrow, Tom?
No.
Oh, I gotta send that to you. It's that is
All right.
that they did that and they did that right around when they in New Orleans with Venus and Mars.
Yep. Okay. I'll have to look for it. Very good. Okay, now a track that Denny has probably done thousands of times prior to, this release. Go Now, which is the staple for Denny Lane. Are you guys surprised that Denny is only getting one lead vocal on this release, or do we know if he got any more
Was there
lead
more?
vocals? That's what that's what I do not know.
I'd have to search the bootlegs.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Huh.
But I think he sings as fabulous.
I like the organ. Again, a lot of organ on this release. You're hearing a lot of organ and stuff on piano, electric piano, organ, whatever. And here you go. We've already said you hear it's not a piano. It's an electric keyboard. And Denny always does things go now well. This is no exception.
Right. And then he does get one little extra nugget of lead vocal, and that's the opening line of Wildlife,
The word wild applies to you and me.
Applies to me, and when I heard that, I was like, "Is that Denny? Is he going to sing the whole damn song?"
That actually would have been cool.
Yes,
that would have been cool. Because when I first heard that, somebody actually mentioned that in the Hoffman forum that as a spoiler, Denny sings the opening lines of Wildlife, and I'm like, "Oh damn." Hey, here we are. It's the summer of '74. Wildlife by that point is just about 3 years old and done in the can, over. Band on the Run is a success, and here he's revisiting the title song of the first Wings album with nobody that actually recorded it with him, with the exception of Denny Lane and Linda and himself. And here they are doing it, which is pretty interesting. You know, you've got Jeff Britton.
Jimmy does some. Yeah, Jimmy does some great stuff on this track too. It's kind of a little bluesier, maybe. I think maybe, and I like what Jimmy's doing.
Dave?
Oh, this is one of my favorite Wings songs in general. I have a history of it when I became aware of it in '97 on a Ubu Jubu freebie CD from Best Buy. And
you only heard this song in 1997?
I was 13. I mean, Flaming Pie was my first kind of, other than Band on the Run and McCartney, those two were the only things that were in my world at that time. But this is kind of my introduction to stuff outside of McCartney and Band on the Run, and I just love that. It's kind of a downer theme, but just musically, modal wise, I love it.
Yeah, Music Sound Gear might be in the minority with that comment there. I'd rather hear Mary Had a Little Lamb over Wildlife.
No, I'm with them too. Win. Let's go. I'm with you.
I mean, this might be one of Paul's first kind of awareness songs. Yeah, one of these kind of how it could have been. You're right. Wildlife. Maybe. Give Ion back to the Irish a few months later. I mean, I was born in '84, so in '97 I was still when I heard that I was not quite 13. So
yeah.
No excuse.
Okay. Right. Then we end disc 2 with another rocker. Hi. Which again, I think this one really cooks, and he kind of has like that. We go, kind of like how he does it in Wings Over America. Just the way he sings that, we're going to get high a little bit, a little raspier, I think, or I think it's a little. What's the word I'm looking for? Grungier, maybe, than the original single. Again, the difference between Jimmy and Henry. David as a guitar player. I mean, don't you think there's a little bit of a difference there, between the two? Yeah, definitely. Are you saying Jimmy's a little more grittier, grungier, kind of? Yeah, maybe. Harder. I mean, yeah. Maybe Henry's a little bit more bluesier. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I think that's where Jimmy kind of shines on Wings Over America.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm you know,
Right,
you'd almost be curious, like if Denny and Henry were still around during this time. You know, what they would have, you know, if they would have kept that early sound of Wings, or if they would have like morphed into what Paul want, you know, be interesting. But you know, when Jeff and Jimmy and then Joe English came around,
right.
took them to I think a little bit of a rock, more of a rock arena band than a.
See, well, exactly. That's what I said Monday night on Talk More Talk. It's like that first incarnation of Wings is kind of like maybe a theater act. You know, smaller, more of a smaller, intimate. You
Not
know,
ready for
but then
arenas
when
and
you,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but
I
then
mean,
with the
they're
addition of Joe English and Jimmy, then you know I kind of likened it to Fleetwood Mac, right? That original Fleetwood Mac was kind of
Peter Green.
bluesier, kind of maybe theater-ish, but then with the addition of Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, then all of a sudden they just become this this great
But you
arena
know, like
act.
I think Paul always wanted to get back in the limelight, and that was an era of the Who and Led Zeppelin. And
sure, I mean, in '76, that's like arena rock at its
Arena rock.
zenith.
Right.
You know,
Zenith.
think about it.
And you know, and
Right.
the technology wasn't for the Beatles to really take advantage of that when they ended in '66. So Paul's like, I think it worked out for Paul because he's like, all right, now we're going to take this all over the world.
Right.
bigger
I mean,
than this.
you had the development of the
Right.
lights and stuff with Showco doing the lights and all that. That was all part of the whole thing. So these songs, especially a song like Hi, 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 which worked very well towards the end of the show, you know. So here, it's just a little bit different. This whole period, I think I could sum it up. It's just like he wants to take some songs. He wants to take a band. He wants to go on the road. He wants to tour. He wants to. He can't because he has legal problems, but he wants to tour. He knows he's got some really great songs that he knows works well as a band. Hi, 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 Band on the Run, Junior's Farm,
Soily
Let Me Roll It, Soily. These are
Yeah.
all songs that are jet. They're going to come into it, but he's just still kind of pulling it all together and like, when am I going to be able to take this band and play this material? As it turned out, it took another album before they really went on the world. They had to finish Venus and Mars, and then he was like, now we're ready. Now we're ready to tour. They couldn't just tour with Band on the Run. Had Junior's Farm, but he needed another album with another new lineup after Jeff Britton gets jettisoned, and then bring Joe English in and go, okay, now we're ready to rock and roll. I've got my guitarist, my young guy who's ready to just shred it and go. And I just think this was like the appetizer for, like, I want to go out and tour. I want to tour, and I want to do it now. So I think that's what it was.
David, your overall thoughts on everything, the package, the music. Where does this stand for you in the releases?
I was more excited about the underdub when it was announced, but I'm more excited listening to this release since I got it. So, like, if because that's like, man, one hand clapping, like, how many iterations are going to have this? How much is this going to be parsed out? But it's a complete package of how he wanted to present it to the public. It may not be the complete sessions, because I mean, on Amazon it's saying one hand clapping sessions, but
right,
it says one hand clapping. So the sessions part on Amazon nomenclature is interesting, but for the 26 tracks, I mean, this might be my go-to, just kind of mid-period Wings, kind of greatest hits of that time performed live in a studio. So I'm more appreciative of it, even though we had the DVD and disc 2 on the archives for Band on the Run and on the other pieces. But no, I think this is gonna be in my rotation a little bit more often than the underdog stuff.
Yeah, and to jump onto what Steve's saying here is you definitely hear Polygon pretty much loud and clear, with this version. If there's anybody who thinks he's still saying body gun, which I think would probably have been the better line than Polygon myself. But yeah, right on. But Andy, your overall thoughts on this release?
I just gave him.
Yeah.
I just gave him. I think it encapsulates a guy wanting to get ready to go on the road and fine-tuning, what he was given with. Has a hugely successful album with Band on the Run. trying to put a band together. Guys leave. He can't go out with Paul, Linda, and Denny, and call that Wings. So he's got to get people in there, whip them into shape. They're talented. They're doing their thing, and go out as a band. And I think that this is that period. This is the end. This is the summer of '74. He feels good enough with these guys to go to New Orleans. Things don't work out with Jeff Britton. He says, Jeff, see you later. Joe English come in. And the rest is history with Venus and Mars, and Paul becoming more confident as a songwriter. With the success of Band on the Run behind his sails. Okay, you've been shitting on me for 3 years. Now I've got Band on the Run. I've got Junior's Farm. Now I'm going to go actually do it and write an arena rock album that has full of concepts and stuff designed for big live performances like Venus and Mars, rock show. He's writing this to say, I'm coming on tour now.
Yeah.
Look out.
I mean, it began as a rockumentary, but I think, this is his way of kind of, let's record it. Let's see what we could come up with as a band.
Yeah.
Prep ourselves.
This is the start of Paul and wanting to go into the next stratosphere. Not the time, as Tom said, not like the theaters and the small venues in the UK, like wanting to go to the next level.
Right. And I agree. And it's very important, too, is that we get this period with Jeff Britton. We see that he's more than just, a 7-month, player. I mean, he's actually a very talented, gifted drummer, and he deserves this moment or this spotlight in the sun, if you will. I think this was great of a release for that, a great release to see this band come together. And we know now, like, this is the beginning of that mock phase of Wings, right? I mean, it starts pretty much right here, and then it takes off. So this, I think, is a great release to kind of like, that timeline, right? Timeline is everything, and this is a really important piece of the timeline.
Yes. So you see in the DVD, Jeff, or the interaction between Jeff, Linda, and Paul, and they're getting on with it. I think the other two guys are a little cold, and I think personality clash has kind of pushed Jeff out. But I was almost thinking, okay, I'm looking at Wikipedia. The album began as a rockumentary. Hopefully they can maybe, if they're not going to do a full visual release, take a good portion of it and put it in maybe on the Man on the Run documentary.
Yes. Just
to show that gap that you're not really seeing on Wingspan. And maybe Jeff Britton does get interviewed on that doc, but it's kind of,
and that's what's missing, right? And that's what we that's what's missing with these documentaries is the talking heads of the other band members. I mean, we had a couple more. So we had Henry alive during Wingspan, right? We did, and obviously Denny,
Denny too.
So we didn't get those talking heads. They didn't get a chance to get their say during that documentary. Look at that Eagles documentary. They hate each other, but every member had a chance. Every band member had a chance to give a say. Yes,
they had everyone.
Randy, Randy Meisner, everyone got a chance to say something, and it's too bad that that those members didn't get a chance to get to say anything. Then
I mean, maybe there are archivals, or maybe in the last 10 years they have been interviewed. You never know. But it's interesting that Jeff Britton's back in the spotlight getting interviewed on Sirius
as he
XM.
should.
Yeah,
as he should. So capping it, let me just go over my favorites, the highlights of the whole package.
Yeah.
I'll just 3 or 4 tracks. Jet, Soily, Maybe I'm Amazed, All of You, Blue Moon of Kentucky, and Tomorrow, and Wildlife. I think those 7 tracks are my favorite ones on this package right now.
Well, I did forget. We'll mention this real quickly. The Backyard EP, which is again another little fantastic. I like them heavy and I like them tall too, Paul. But I love Blackpool. Love Blackbird. The first side is obviously great. You got Blackpool, Blackbird, and Country Dreamer. B side has got what they calling it
I'm
here.
Too Tired to Rock.
To rock. Yes,
but really 20 Flight Rock. And Peggy Sue, which we've heard, and I'm Gonna Love You Too.
Right, you got Peggy Sue, and I'm Gonna Love You Too. I played this, and I was telling the guys Monday night, it sounds like he's right next to you. It's so freaking clear. I love this release. I turned my head and I thought someone was actually playing acoustic guitar right next to me.
The overall clarity, I mean, even on the album, One Hand Clapping, the clarity is just off the charts of the vocals.
Yeah.
This especially, this too, but yeah, I think the 20 Flight Rock is probably the cool that we hadn't heard before. The other stuff we heard mostly, we heard Blackpool, Blackbird, and we had the bootlegs.
Right.
Well, Dreamer, we got already. Yeah.
And we got to see some of those on the McCartney Years DVD menus
but
pages.
20 Flight Rock for me is the highlight of the EP for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So very worth it. It's still available. You can still go on paulmccartney.com. If you didn't get the 2LP with the 7-inch, it's still available to buy. And you said it was what was the other two places, David, that you can get that?
You Discover?
Yeah, and Sound of Vinyl.
And Sound of Vinyl.
You could use a coupon code for Sound of Vinyl for like 20% off. That basically covers the $9 shipping cost.
Okay.
Exactly, Susan.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, baby.
And perfect. All right. So, okay, there you go. That's our review, our thoughts on One Hand Clapping. A well-deserving release that all of us should have, even if you're whatever phase of fan you are, a beginner all the way to hardcore fan. I think every phase of fandom of McCartney should have this release, especially to grab the EP as well. I know I had the CD, right? We had the CD, Andy. We had the CD, right? We had the LP. David, you also have digital. So we got
the poster,
there's the poster right there,
Yes,
all
indeed.
Right.
Big.
Yes, indeed. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. Andy, what do you got coming up? We just guest spotted on a friend's podcast. Ed Rising.
Ed Rising's Pop-O-Matic.
Pop-O-Matic podcast.
Pop-O-Matic. Myself, and Tom, and Kit, and a host of other friends dropped on his show and talking about other things, One Hand Clapping. But he also asked us if we had to pick 5 songs Paul would play live, regardless of his vocal ability, what would they be? So that was a good fun chat, and we did that last night, and that is up on his platforms now. So give Ed Rising's channel, Pop-O-Matic, a look and see that show if you want to see it.
Yes, and David, you just chilling?
Just chilling, man. Just bugging you guys daily.
You're our Hoffman. You're our Hoffman.
Yeah,
I'm your inside.
Yeah, and keep that fire burning, because you never know when I'm going to show up.
Yeah, man. You're just a few miles
midnight,
away.
12:30.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Yeah, so that was a good time. Thank you, everybody. I do want to say a little quick rest in peace to the great living actor, or legend, I should say, to Donald Sutherland, who gave us so many great performances throughout his 50-plus career, whether it was Dirty Dozen, Kelly's Heroes, MASH, Don't Look Now. I mean, Animal House, Backdraft, JFK, you name it, the Hunger Games franchise. He gave us so many wonderful performances, and you talked about one earlier too, Andy. What was the name?
Yeah, I love Donald Sutherland and Heaven Help Us with Andrew McCarthy from 1985.
Yeah,
great film.
Yeah,
he's great in that too.
Yeah, he gave us Kiefer Sutherland. There you go.
Certainly did,
fame.
Mr. 24. So that'll wrap it for 251. So,
that's right.
Mr. Gargalino, thank you for coming back on again. Give us your thoughts. Thank you, Tom. And we will be signing off.
Thank you, Andy.
And saying see you next time. See you for 252.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good night. Bye.